Welcome everybody to today's lecture. We're going to have Vasili Giannoutsos, who is also known as Blue Barker Low Tide in Second Life, talk about VSTE Island and VSTE environments. He's a graphic instructional designer and vice chair of Virginia's Society for Technology and Education, the Professional Learning Networking Virtual Environments Group, and an active of ISTE and various other Second Life educational groups, as well as a writer for the Virtual Education Journal. And as you remember, VSTE means Virginia Society for Technology and Education. We're having his talk on their island at the main auditorium, and then we'll get a tour of the island. And ISTE stands for International Society for Technology and Education. So thank you all for coming this morning. We're really delighted to have you here. And as you can see, I'm kind of flipping back and forth from the auditorium to the webinar frame. It's called Virtual Networking, and Online Exhibitions at the Virginia Society for Technology and Education. As usual, we have put the SL URL into the chat box, and I'll be leaving the webinar, and we'll meet up in the VSTE auditorium for Blue Barker Low Tide's talks this morning. Thanks, everybody.
Alrighty, guys, welcome. Thank you guys for coming so early in the morning. So, welcome to, this is VSTE Island. My name is Vasili Giannoutsos in real life, and then in Second Life I'm known as Blue Barker Low Tide. As you've heard, I am Vice Chair for VSTE VEPLN, and I'm helping to present on virtual networking and online exhibitions with VSTE. So let's get right on that. So, trying to understand what VSTE is. It's the Virginia Society for Technology and Education Virtual Environments Professional Learning Network. I know that is a mouthful. So, I mean, we just call it VSTE SL for some people. It makes it much easier. But we're an affiliate state chapter of the International Society for Technology and Education, and it's really trying to integrate technology and the usage of technology into education, whether it's for schools or whether it's for corporate training. It's trying to utilize and optimize the way that we use technology, whether it's WizIQ or Adobe. Oh, I'm sorry, Nitro. Oh, is my mic too hot? Let me see if I can fix that a bit. Okay, sorry. And like I said, it's not just for education in schools. It's also for training for companies, corporate training. But here we are. Here's a grandiose picture of our wonderful pavilion building in VSTE Island. And we hold a lot of talks here. Oh, thank you. I just wanted to double check that. I know I'm getting a little bit of allergies too, so my voice is a little hoarse for the time being, but we're gonna keep going. So here are just our group of leaders. In the red, you'll see Thunder and Sopo. Next door, you have me. Thunder and Sopo is the head cheerleader for our professional learning network. I am, of course, the vice chair. Next to me is Jasmo, Day Miami, and Beth Ghost Raven. In that order, and they are very well knit with us, all working together to help keep this group going, to help doing all the communications, to help doing all the different activities. And it takes a group of people to really do some amazing things. Not that individuals can't do it, but that idea of being able to get people working together is really how we all come together, how social networking works, because it's not just making connections, it's also being able to communicate and work with people to be able to generate ideas that become something. So I bet you're all wondering, really, who I am and how did I get started in this sort of thing, because social networking and working in Second Life, doing virtual worlds, it's not something that is a very common everyday practice. You don't hear that all the time. So, to help try and understand where I'm coming from for social networking, you gotta understand a little bit about my mindset. Like I said, I was a freelance graphic artist doing computer animation. So I have a good 2D and 3D background working in marketing and advertising for over 2 years. And I was working with companies such as Pilot Online, ESPN, Mathemagenesis, and Reality Bridges, to name a few. Now, when you're doing marketing and advertising, not only is it about trying to generate money, but it's trying to convince your customers and your audience that they have your product and your product is the best. I've always been told that we have to trick our customers into buying our product. And I always felt like that was an awful idea. Why do we, if a product is good enough, it should be able to stand and talk for itself. That's not always the case, and sometimes you have to do some really underhanded and dirty tricks to try and manipulate the market, and it never really sat well for me. It wasn't a very comfortable thing. Part of my job description was I had to go to different conventions to try and promote our products, while at the same time I had to do company training, where they send me to some place and then I was expected to come back and then train the other people in what I had learned. That was a normal thing, and I preferred actually doing the company training. I preferred just going, learning something new, coming back, and then teaching everybody else how to do it. Now, with companies, it's not the easiest thing because they don't expect you to teach classes the whole time because you have a job to do. Marketing and advertising with graphic design, you have to create promotional images, you have to do research, and follow the market. But with training, it's you do it once and then you have an online course. And it's, well, the online platform is not something that exists. You have to create it yourself. You have to create new things. You have to you have to figure out how your company learns things. And with most companies, if they're really old, they don't have the resources or they don't have the technology to do what you want to do. So most times it's just easier to have hard copies of everything and hand out folders. But that's not the best way to learn things. So because I started liking the corporate training, I was trying to figure out, I think I was really moving towards more education. I was wanting to learn how to help people learn more effectively. I wanted to find out what makes people learn. What was in their mind that made them want to learn something? Was it really the motivation that instigated it? Was it engagement? What were these secrets to education that I didn't know? And so I decided to entirely switch careers into education, and I really have not regretted that decision. So like I said, I live in Virginia, and I was trying to put some lines on how to go about learning my field of education to be more technology and instructional design education, because I like setting up a course and I like teaching a course that I set up. I'm not one of the teachers to like, oh, there's a plan in place, well, I have to follow that plan. Not so much me. I like to, I like to try new things, I like to experiment a little. And to do that, I mean, like I was going to class and doing some degrees and stuff, and one of the things is, thanks, Mackie. I really wanted to have a community to talk to, professional people I wanted to talk to, that were down to earth and very casual, and I found them. I found Visty. Thanks. And I think it took me a while to actually find Misty. It's not something that's like they have better communications now, but 5, 6 years ago they didn't. I mean, the social media was a little weak, so even trying to find it, you're like, I don't know what these people are about. I don't know what they're doing. But I mean, you really have to look hard. And I mean, when you find someone doing something really amazing, when you find amazing things, and in turn you will find those amazing things that will lead you to amazing people. And because it's the people behind what they're doing. It's like when you find a research paper. Sorry, uh, I'm coughing and the phone is ringing. hmm Sorry about that. So enter VSTE. VSTE's well, it's just easier to say VSTE SL instead of saying VSTE VEPLN. Like I said, it is a mouthful. So VSTE SL is previously as loan, and that's what I'm actually used to typing a lot. And it's this really online virtual community of educators, administrators for buildings, ITs, corporate trainers are in there too, and technology enthusiasts that were in my state. And it's not just people in Virginia; it's people from around the country who just really accept anybody really. But we're just an organization that's based in Virginia. It doesn't mean that we're just only Virginia people. Now, being able to once joining it, I mean, you're like able to carry on these very interesting conversations, and you're learning more about what you want to learn about. You're learning more exciting things. Yeah. Well, yes, it is very yeah, we accept everybody. Maggie, and I mean, we all doing stuff in Second Life, but we're also branching out to different worlds too, and I'm gonna get to that later. And really, it's about the kind of resources that people share, because we do a lot of mobile share fairs, we do a lot of talking about technology, and we share a lot of links. So really, my word to the wise for anyone who's really doing something with an educational group or any kind of group really in Second Life or any virtual world, you need to get some kind of external social bookmarking site. Social bookmarking is a way to save all these links instead of having a massive folder of favorites, because I guarantee that every time I go to a meeting, I get at least maybe 10 or 15 different website links that I want to go look at, and I usually favor them. And I'm like, oh, if I could have told my younger self, this is something I should have done. Start it early. Start your social bookmarking site early, because you can link it to your own profile and then you can share it. It's just a great wealth and resource to do that. So we have different places such as Digo, Pearl Trees, and LiveBinder. Let me grab. I had those links ready to put in the chat because they're really useful. There's also another new one that's been popping up. Scott Merrimack uses it a lot, and it's called Padlet. So I will be dropping links in for everybody every now and again, because it's just a norm that we all do. And so let's continue. So what VSTE does, we do a lot of cool stuff. Every Monday evening, except like on a holiday or if there's like a school holiday off. But I mean, that's still a lot of Mondays, right? And usually we start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anyone can join. So what it is we do is that we're offering support to teachers, not just teachers, but to anybody really who needs the help. We have a lot of newbies who come in. That's new players, new comers to virtual worlds. We network amongst each other. We have also little tech talks where we talk about new technologies that are out there. We have our app share fairs where we always get a lot of links, where we'll always talk. We have a lot of middle schoolers and elementary school teachers who like to share the apps that they're using in their classrooms. Yeah, it is. So, sorry. Oof, my throat. Um, so we have keynote speakers. We had Gentle Heron, the winner of the winner of the Thinker Award in VWBP. She's been here before. We've had Rob Verman, who's a great motivational speaker. During some of our book talks, we've had actually some of the authors come in and talk to us about their books. Bringing them into Second Life, we had to teach them how to use it because it's not likely that they've known how to use Second Life before. And we have lots of sim tools. One of the main staples of VSTE is that we have Exploration Central, which is a link to lots of different educational sims around the grid. Yeah. I sometimes feel like the higher educational folks don't really understand what the K-12 people are doing, but we try and like bridge everything together and we try and help each other to learn how the different things happen and how they work. Now, as an active group leader, try to help people in virtual environments, but you know what? We're not just in Second Life. We're also in Minecraft. We sometimes hold meetings just purely in Minecraft. So we have Minecraft Mondays. We have World of Warcraft sometimes. We work with the Inevitable Betrayal group with Kay Novak and Chris Capellini. We also have done stuff in Kitely, and we also work with Unity. Unity is a very special program, and it's not like you can build virtual worlds in Unity. They're very closed off, and we have a teacher who lives in Western Virginia who does a lot of like individual assignments for his students in there. He does lots of in our state we have these SOLs, these standards of learning, which are like benchmark tests, and has had really good data and really good test scores after using and utilizing Unity. So he's always talking to us about all the new stuff that he's doing. Yeah, Lee Graham is really amazing. So I bet you're really wondering, how does social networking play a role in this? Go tonight, you've all been wondering it because I feel like I've been going down roads here and there. Sometimes I get a little off track, but I usually have a point to it, I promise. So I'm going to really break it down into how is social networking. As for our individual, for just the person who's coming in, because I was there too. I was an individual coming in, and you know what? I was really shy. Before becoming a board member for VSTE, I was extremely nervous about doing something like this, and I don't blame you. It's a really different kind of feel than most things. I'm not gonna lie. Second Life or any virtual world, if you're not used to something like this, if you haven't done like any like I guess video games, or if you haven't really explored interacting within a virtual environment or environment that's not real, it's a lot to take in. You have talking avatars, you have chat boxes, you have voice, private messages. It's a lot to take in, especially for the first person. If you've never done something like this before and coming in, it can be a bit daunting, but please know that we're here to help. Please know that there's lots of places that you can go to help, to get help. And you know what? Sorry. And I know for the first time it was me. Oh yeah, some of the most caring people in Second Life are educators. I'll tell you. I will not lie, because it's just ingrained to us to help. And if you don't know how to do something, we'll like private message you. I'm like, do you need help? Oh, let me tell you. You can do this, this. We're always just jumping on people who need help. It's just ingrained, I guess. But for the individuals coming in, you think you're all by yourself. You may feel a bit introverted. You don't want to talk to really anybody. And I mean, even if you're afraid to speak in a group, attend the meetings or just go and find something that you like. I guarantee you that you'll get invaluable resources and links that are being shared. You like lots of non-profit common discussions, NPCs, in Second Life, because that's a different educational group. They have lots of new people who go there that don't say anything at all, but they're there because they were interested in the topic, they heard about it from a friend, and they stay the whole time. And they're just getting lots of different resources. Yeah, we haven't had vampire attacks in quite some time, Nelly, but I remember those days. Oof, oof. I'm so glad I was at the tail end of that one. But let's talk about a group. Perhaps you're feeling a bit more courageous. Perhaps you are a bit more seasoned. Well, taking a leadership position is a very huge responsibility. But ultimately it really is worthwhile to help and watch a group grow and evolve. And being involved in those decisions, because you get to choose certain things, you get to have some kind of leeway to do certain things. It's one of those, if you've been doing something for quite a long time, like I've been attending VSTE Monday meetings for quite some time, and it just felt like some of them needed help, just trying to do things and helping out whenever I could, it was feeling more of giving back to the community. Pretty much, it's a real life thing. Even though it's in a virtual world, it doesn't mean it's any less real than anything else. It's a group of people that are doing stuff, whether it's through avatars, whether it's doing it through real life. One of our members, Lowen Aluna, he is actually on the board of. He's actually one of the board members for the VSTE group, real life group, and he has a lot of pull for us. And he is able to tell us some things and relay messages from the board members. And it's great having people walking face to face and at the same time being able to walk in virtual environments. But really, my next word to the wise, please don't be afraid to try new things. I can say that easily because I guess I've done 2D and 3D, so I'm used to computer animation, I'm used to building, and that came natural to me. So I guess I felt more at home in a virtual environment such as Second Life. But even if I wasn't, I would like to express that you may regret the outcome. Like you might stumble upon the things that you're not aware of, or you'll run into some people who might seem strange, or they're completely trolling you and they want to mess up the area and cause some chaos. But you won't regret your experience of being in here. Every experience that you have is a chance to learn. And really, that's what's important about social networking and attending groups, attending events, and like VWBPE. You're doing things that help you learn. There are moments, there are opportunities to help you learn, and if you don't pursue that, if you don't open those doors, where are you? You're metaphorically in a room staring at doors, not really doing anything. And how are you going to learn? How are you going to grow from that? But yeah, Mandy, one of the other chairs in VSTE SL, she's really good at helping newcomers learning how to build. She does a lot of building demonstrations in our sandbox. And talking about the SLMOOC too, it is a big accomplishment. It took a lot of people to get this organized. It took a lot of presenters. And really, it wouldn't be anything without people like you participating in it. So it's a give and take. And really, some of the important things about social networking in a group, if you really are taking a leadership position, you have to communicate. And I mean that in 3 different ways. I mean that in being able to communicate within your group. Within your leaders, you have to be able to relay the information, you have to be able to talk to one another, you have to be on the same page. So either doing that through Google Docs, through emails, through instant messages, however you want, you have to be able to talk to the people in your group. Because every Monday, we have to have a meeting, we have to have some kind of presentation, so we have to think about what they are ahead of time, and not just create it on the cusp. We're not super spontaneous. The second way I mean to communicate, you have to communicate as official. If you really are taking a leadership role, you have to change your hat a bit, because you're not a member anymore. You are a leader, and you are in the know, and you have to be able to talk to people and be able to share that, I guess, professionalism with other people. And we have to be able to communicate with other groups, because it's not just VSTE here. VSTE does a lot of partnerships with lots of different groups on the grid. And lots of special individuals that have done amazing things on their own, and they have presences in virtual environments, in virtual worlds. I know one of the things that we follow for our meetings, for at least our planning meetings, is we have something called Robert's Rules, and these are just some general rules of thumbs for how to do a meeting like how to vote, who gets to talk. It's a semi-diplomatic procedural. Some of our meetings are a bit informal, but we always have that piece of time where we're trying to get stuff done and we have to put on our serious chair hats. But for individuals in general, it's how can I put that? It's trying to be able to do. It's trying to be able to control yourself enough so that, yeah, I'm serious. No, chair hats. Like our board member hats. We have to be able to do stuff. I know, sometimes we talk sometimes our board, our planning meetings turn into, what are you doing? Oh, that's amazing. Oh, and they go on and on about it. But as an individual, if you don't already know what digital citizenship is you behaving as a citizen and being able to do things. This is also referred to as netiquette. I put a link in there to Almon's netiquette website. It really is one of the go-to places for learning how to behave online. It's like, so you don't interrupt people, so you don't upset people. I mean, it's not the same as real life, but there are some similarities. That's for sure. And you'll see to the bottom right-hand corner of my slide, I have one of the procedures for when we do the voting, how we do the vote calls. It really is a fantastic site. You guys should totally revisit it, add it to your resources box, your treasure box. But like I said, we do a lot of partnerships and we do a lot of communicating with other groups. And here's one of the ones that we did. We were exploring astronomy at the Exploratorium on Science Island. They had this whole conservatorium where they were talking about different planets in our solar system. They had examples of a meteorite crashing. They had a whole system model of our solar system and talking about revelations. It was a really fantastic thing. They've built a lot of stuff. It took a lot of scripting. It's a lot more building that I'm good with. I mean, I can just build things, but when you build and script, you just have more power in your hands. And they do amazing stuff over on Science Island. Yeah, Nelly. Some people will, but I'm not going to go ahead and talk about website links. I'll be like, www.google.com. Go to this link. It's easier to just put it in the chat. I don't use the chat overly very often. But I will do it for links and references. Or I will say, because we had that talk with Gentle Heron, sometimes only some people can't see or hear what I'm saying, so they have to read it. They want to be able to get it in some fashion. So it's the accommodations for the people who can't do normal things. So sometimes we have chat logs going. Someone who will be a transcriber for the session will pop in every once in a while to be able to translate those lessons. And yeah, the ever popular speakeasies where you've already have scripted out of what you're saying, but you put it into the speakeasy. I wish I did one for mine. It might have saved my throat a little bit. But here's another one that we did. We have a WoW demonstration with Inevitable Betrayal Guild and hashtag Metagame Group. They're really big about gamification and learning through games. And the research that is coming out of using video games to help teach has been pretty good. I know one of the ones that flows me every time I hear it is the reading literacy increases exponentially when you do those games because they have such a higher level of vocabulary that someone who is young and doesn't know the vocabulary, they're going to be like, what did they just say? And they by themselves will research what it means, and then at that same time, it expands the vocabulary. So that has always been exciting to hear that sort of thing. So just a couple of other groups that we've worked with in the past. We have lots of different logos. We've worked with 3D Game Labs. Like I said, we've had a session with Nonprofit Commons. We've worked with Calden. We've also worked with some of the other ISTE groups, such as the ISTE PLNs, which is the Virtual Environments Network. It is different set of group of people because we're VSTE, but ISTE has their own group for virtual environments. ISTE with our mobile learning network. One of our chair people actually is the head chair over there for that. And yeah, using with the speakeasy, Gentle Heron has had a huge effect on all of us to be able to transcribe and put things into chat so that others can enjoy and experience what we're doing. Hometown is the science labs over there. And hashtag metagame, they're mostly in Google+, but they do have a Second Life presence as well. But online online expositions. What's that exactly? Leastwise, what does it mean? So, when we talk about online expositions at VSTE, you guys kind of think about what was happening at VWPPE. We had those exhibits where lots of people were just posting different things, and you could visit them at your own time. Now that's different than what we do. With our online exhibits, we are showing off works or examples, or at least digitized representations of work that our students or possibly researching colleagues have done. Things that they have worked on that they show us and they demonstrate for us. Now you all must be like, what am I talking about? And I really don't blame you, because it's a little abstract to understand virtual worlds and 3D spaces, and it's not an easy thing to really visualize in your mind unless you've trained in that sort of thing. It begins to get usual, but trying to do it is a different matter altogether. Like translating what's in your mind into a virtual space is not always is not an easy task, I tell you. But let me try and break it down. So, how many of you guys have heard of International Dot Day? It's very popular on the West Coast, and it's something that's moving across the United States. International Dot Day. Okay, I'll explain it. International Dot Day it's based on this book that's called The Dot, and what it is that the book, it's a children's book that is trying to explore to a child. The main character is this girl who is in art class, and she doesn't think she can draw, and she's very down about herself. And she says, I can't draw, I don't know why I'm here. And then the teacher is like, anybody can draw and do art. And she's like, no, I can't do anything. And I'm not going to spoil the whole thing for you, but she tells her that, here, I'll give you this blank sheet of paper, and you put anything on it, and I will accept it for a grade. So she puts a single dot on a paintbrush, and she takes it. The art teacher looks at it, and she's like, it's beautiful, it's amazing, it's art. And I'm not to say that art is easy, but it was that encouragement, trying to tell people that even though you say you can't do something, you have to at least try to do something. You have to have that attempt, and once you get used to doing something like that, you get more practice, and you start doing more amazing things. And with International Dot Day, it's a kind of day where teachers well, actually, it lasts for a whole week, mind you, not just September 15th. It lasts for the whole week, where they have creative icebreakers, where at the beginning of class, they tell their class we're going to participate in International Dot Day. You guys, I'm going to give you guys each a sheet of paper, and you have to give me a dot, meaning that they get to create their own dot. They can somewhere in their drawing, they have to incorporate a dot. Now, a dot is simply a circle, and I will say circles are in lots of different, or is in practically everything. And it's hard to escape a circle. It's one of the basic shapes, fundamental shapes for art. And the creative things that people come up with is really amazing. And so, we held our own International Dot Day in Second Life. So everybody was given their own circle to play with, so they could build their own things. And we met that first week, and then the next week we were able to show off what people had done over the week. And we shared about it because we do an International Dot Day on the East Coast too. Especially in the Virginia Beach school system, there's lots of teachers who participate in this because it's so early in the school year that it's not messing up our curriculum to stop and do something like this, but it's a way for our students to interact with one another, to be able to, like, at the very beginning, they're like in a class, they might not know everybody. It gives people a chance to, like, do those icebreakers, to not be so super like afraid to do things, afraid to talk to other classmates, because we have limited amount of school supplies, and if they want to use a red color pencil and it's all the way over there, they have to ask someone for it. So we had some amazing builds that popped in. People. Someone made a circle of peace. Someone made a planetary system go around. Super scripting skills. Um, Someone made like a waterfall with like a dolphin going through it. It was just really cool what people came up in world. But also, some of the teachers imported their own pictures of what their students had done, and you'll see these photos in the back and to the right of the photo, student work that was being done. And I mean that's was really what was important, was to have the students do, because having teachers do it, it's a very fun and easy way for creative expression, but really seeing what students can do was amazing to show off. And I know that they told their students what they had done, but it's a way to help virtual worlds, because it becomes a gallery, it becomes a showcase for the art, for the projects, for the resources. Let's see. Oh wait, before I do that one. As you'll see, I have some posters around my slideshow. To my left-hand side, I have one that has these square boxes on the ground, and we had a STEAM robot challenge. Well, it didn't have to be steampunk, but STEAM in education actually is an acronym. It stands for Science, Technology, Education, Art, and Mathematics. So everyone's like, but isn't that what STEM is? It is, but STEAM is with the A with art added into it. And it's a way for people to express themselves with art through science, technology, engineering, and math. And it's just putting a better focus on it. So people were given the challenge to help create their own robots. Some people had those students were creating the robots, and it was really great to have everyone have their own ideas of what to do. So it was bringing STEM education in. Like I said, on the right hand side we have. Oh, I agree. I do like STEAM better than STEM. I like them both very much. I will say STEM got the conversation going, but STEAM was a more evolved way of looking at STEM. To my other side, we have virtual ability. We had Gentle Heron come in, and we did a joint meeting with. This is a multi-group organization with virtual ability. We had the ISTE Mobile Learning Network, and then we had our group, the Virginia, the VSTE VEPLN, and 3 groups working together to have a session with Gentle Heron about accessibility and the different assistive technologies that are out there. And then underneath that, probably one of the most interesting meetings from last year, we had a psychological researcher come in, and he wanted to help. He wanted to include us in one of his experiments, and this particular experiment was proving if people had a collective mind in virtual environments. Like, could we all process the same information? So what he did was he had a shape in his mind, or he pulled up a shape on his side of the screen. We couldn't see it, but we had to kind of guess what it was. And as a group, we would see how the group collective of trying to be able to get that shape that he was guessing. And we had very contrasting beliefs and then contrasting results. But then we had like maybe 5 people in the virtual environment in our group that were able to get his symbol every time. So it was kind of interesting to see how that was working. But it was a psychological experiment. It was on his own personal sim. But we're not just about exploring sims or having lectures. We're also doing things. Lauren Aluani, who is one of the board members for VSTE, he was doing a role playing for Civil War. In Second Life, so we were participating in that. He was having a kind of like standing at the Appomattox Courthouse. We simulated that, where we had Robert E. Lee with Abraham Lincoln, and it was a really great way to do this. Let's see, I have his name on that picture. His name was Esteban. Let me put it in chat. Yeah, yeah, Esteban. Yeah, he does some really cokey stuff, but it's fun. Um, let's see. I have a mini slideshow that is just sampling the stuff that we did over the last year. I kind of moved it in front of the one that I have right now, briefly. And we've been doing lots of different things in the virtual worlds. And it's all these different experiences that help us build on the foundation of what we've been doing. As social networking, it's not just connecting with people. It's connecting with their ideas, it's connecting with the information that they have, their different resources, and being able to share that. So I really wanted to finish off my talk with the final 3 things that I felt that I wanted everyone to at least leave with. So why share any of this with you? Because I feel like sometimes I ramble a bit. But 1, I really wanted to let you all know that you are not alone. When trying something completely different and new, most people feel really lost and alone. They're really easily confused. And really, in Second Life, there are so many places you can go to get help. We're willing to help people one-on-one if you want that sort of thing. There are lots of different videos out there that you can look for. And it's not something that you have to do by yourself. You are more than welcome to join us, to help learn with us. 2, I wanted to show you guys just a glimpse of the possibilities of what someone can do in virtual worlds, but what you can accomplish when you work with others in virtual worlds. If there's any testament to that, VWBPE takes a whole lot of people. It takes a lot of organizing, and it really is a fantastic experience. Oh, Maggie's been to some of our events, so she's remembering some of these things. And last but not least, yeah, the VWBP conference, the educational conference, Virtual World's Best Practices in Education. You get to see what a whole lot of people are doing all in one time. Like, I wish, I know they keep it up for a month after it's been over, but it's just such a fantastic thing to see people doing things and being able to utilize Virtual Worlds to help people learn and to teach. And last but not least, 3, I'd like to invite you all to just join our community of play. Please click on the apple. Please come visit VSTE Island. We would love to have you join our group, join our sessions, and we would love to see you and help you out. So, if I haven't taken up all of the time, I hope you guys have enjoyed everything here. If you would like, I will have a VSTE Island tour if you want afterwards. But if anybody has any questions, please do so. Ask me now. But if anything, I want to thank you for coming again, and really have a great day, and we've enjoyed you this morning. Alright, that would be cool, Maggie. I'll show you guys some of the hotspots. You guys don't have any cool things. We're just gonna walk around to some of the cool stuff that we have here. I will say that we will, over the next 2 years, we have a plan to help change the VSTE Island so that it's not super prim heavy to move into mesh. So over the next 2 years, we're gonna have some cool changes going on. Well, prims just take up a lot of space. So if you guys like to join me, I'm sure I'll put up my PowerPoint at some point on slideshow if you guys wanted to see it and look back at it. But like I said, this is the VSTE Island Pavilion where we have lots of our talks, our speakers. So if you guys like to follow me out, I'll just show you some of the really cool places that are around in Visti. Visti Island houses a lot of recreations of Virginia landmarks. We're big um, fans of history because, you know, being one of the original 13 colonies, being with Jamestown, the first permanent settlement in North America. Um, we have a recreation of Jamestown. We have authentic Powhatan Village as well. We also have some natural landmarks as well. We have the Virginia Natural Bridge, which is this bridge that looks like it was man-made, but it's really not. It was carved by nature. And if you actually get a chance to visit Virginia, I would recommend seeing the National Bridge. It really is lovely to see. They do some really cool stuff over there. You can take pictures. They have like some fireworks. They do some light shows over there. But we have a really cool sandbox. Well, let me just stop talking about it. Let's go visit it. All right. Just follow me across this bridge. Yeah, I think the first stop off we do have is the Powhatan Village, and then Jamestown. We also have we have builds of the three ships that came over from England that were carrying carrying the people that would be settling Jamestown. So this Native American villages, they had these full skin tents, which were very common. They were easily to deconstruct down because they moved their villages frequently. They usually smoked their furs and their meats together, especially fish. Fish was a common food for Native Americans living on the East Coast. We also have a campfire circle, a drumming circle, if you will. Some of the items you can click and get note cards. We're trying to be very historically accurate with some of our things. Granted, the Powhatan Village is much bigger than this, but this is just having all the Native American stuff together in one area. You'll see these beams coming out of the ground, and those were usually used for ceremonial dancing circles. That's what very common on for the East Coast tribes. And you will see to the left, behind the Native American village by the sea, is the natural bridge formation that we've created. I didn't create it; it was here before I came in. And you'll see those lots of cool and exciting things over there. Lots of natural land formations. It's really an exciting thing to be able to help preserve and bring Virginia to people who don't live in Virginia. I guess we're a little bit like, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, I guess we're used to all this history, but being able to share with others is something that we do enjoy doing. Let's see. So if you guys will follow me along this path. We're going to walk up to the Jamestown settlement. The Jamestown settlement as a trifold, meaning that it was built in a triangle. Because it was easy to, it was a cheap tactic to build. Like the Jamestown settlers coming in. I mean, Jamestown was able to help Native Americans, but at the same time, people kind of taking the land, so they didn't like that too much, I guess. So continue forward. But go ahead and proceed into the Jamestown Full Settlement. We have an opening right over here. They kept the openings very limited, so only one on each side, so they didn't have a lot of ways to enter or exit. And like I said, there are lots of items in here that you can click on, and they will give you note cards. And these are traditional buildings. These were made out of more solid materials, not like the furs that the Native Americans had, but they were made out of clay and a very primitive concrete mixture that was able to. Now, the misconception about Jamestown was that even though they had permanent housing, it was very drastic because they didn't have AC or heating control system. They didn't have air conditioning. So in the summer, it would be very hot, and in the winter, it was able to keep the heat in from using the geothermalness of the earth. And granted, they had lots of fur-skin blankets as well. Here's what a building of what a culture would be. One of the reasons for people coming over to the new colonies was for religious freedom. And if we take a little trip outside the store, like I said, we have recreations of the 3 ships that brought over the colonists for Jamestown. We have the Susan Constant, the Godspeed. That last one always messes me up. I can never remember that one. Oh, Discovery. Discovery, Susan Constant, and Godspeed were the 3 ships that brought the colonists over from Jamestown. And like I said, they're not super accurate in what they look like. We actually have they have had the blueprints, and if you come visit Jamestown or in Williamsburg, they actually do have a port that has replicas of the ships. They aren't the original ships, but they've built them from scratch. And like I said, that we have some note codes in there as well. If you just click around. And if you'd like to follow me down the path again, Now, in the early years of the VSTE Island, one of the first people to come in, he was a shipbuilder. He, as in, he built ships in like tiny glass bottles. I don't think he was an actual he built gigantic ships, but he just appreciated the maritime and the nautical, I guess. I think I met him at one time, but I don't think we've had like a real hot conversation. Over here is where we have the main VSTE headquarter building. This is also the community center where we hold lots of other meetings, hold lots of informal sit-downs. So shares might be in here. And it's really just a fun place to hang out. Next to the community center, we have a sandbox that's open to anybody who's in the VSTE group to use. So you have to be able to have the VSTE tagline. You can see behind me in these bushes. And I guess really this is all we have to show right now. We had a giant treehouse that had some outdated resources that we took down recently because we're making a new one in mesh. So we're just well, our resources have been relocated inside the community center if you want to take a look at them. I mean, we love the treehouse too, Maggie. It's not that it was that. It was just really prim heavy. And when some of the newcomers who came into Second Life, they didn't know how to navigate it. It's a very difficult piece of it was a difficult thing to try and navigate and to have newcomers try and go, because you actually had to climb up the treehouse through the staircase. For someone who was new to Second Life, it was not an easy task, and we didn't have a teleport that went up to the top, which would have been a smart idea. But I think this will be one of our new implementations for when we bring in the mesh one. I think all of us have fallen off the treehouse at one point in time. But I hope this finishes our lovely VSTE tour. Please come and join us. If you want to be invited into the VSTE group, just let me know and I'll send a group invite to you. Like I said, we hold meetings every Monday, so you're more than welcome to come join us. And it has been great sharing and helping you guys with the SLMOOC. It's been very cool. Maggie's been doing a lot of cool stuff for us. So thank you very much. Oh no, the pleasure was mine. Just wanted to bring people into VSTE. Oh, thank you. Have a great weekend.